Hey, welcome back to Twice Married Brother. I am your local friendly neighborhood Twice Married Brother on the line here. Thank you for joining us. And look, today we have a very, very special guest. The first two episodes I spent maybe close to an hour just talking. And when I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, am I talking too much? So for those of you who hung in there while I set up this whole deal with Twice Married Brother, what we're about, thank you for hanging with me, because now we're moving full steam ahead to real world applications with special guests, conversations that we hope will bless you. So today, you see how I started off with my cup overflows with blessing. See that? Hope y'all know that for yourselves, because that is a true statement, whether you believe it or not. Your cup overflows with blessing. And those who are watching this show, I'm sure, or listening, are surely looking for some great things in the area of love and marriage and dating. And that's what we're here for. And as I mentioned before, full disclosure, Twice Married Brother is here for the men. As a testimony and to give hope, to give brothers a positive outlook, to give them faith and power to move powerfully into the land of dating and eventually marriage. And that's why we're here. So I am married. This is my third marriage. And today I have with me a person who is very near and dear to me, who kind of knows exactly what makes me tick. She knows me very well, right? As all wives should. So without further ado, let me give you a bit of a video montage. My wife and I, LaTanya Black Gilliard, we used to do something called Conversations with Carl and LaTanya. And sadly, we haven't done that too much lately, but this montage will give you a feel for kind of the dynamics and the dynamism of the Gilliard marital construct. And then I'll bring her on, and then she will, give her take on some things I'm going to ask her. Listen, I have not prepped her in any way. I tried to give her a little bit of prep, and she shoved me off. She told me that she's smart enough to follow what I'm saying. So, okay, well, I'm sure she is. She is smart enough. But all that to say, there's been no rehearsal. There's been no orchestration of our conversation today. And so get ready. So roll them. Let's go.
Always.
And we might be even blacker than normal on this one. We're back and we're black.
Hello.
And indeed, my birth certificate says that I am Carl.
And I'm LaTanya. God, why does he always do that?
See, she taking this thing already.
That's right. That's what we're going to talk about.
So you driving your car. You just driving along. Your wife's in the passenger seat like she usually is and should be, though, because, I don't let my wife drive too much. Because that just,
Why? Because I drive better than you?
And you have rest, and I don't. They're going to pull me over and give me a ticket. Yeah. They say you driving like 85 miles an hour, Miss Speed Demon. And what's going to happen is that you're going to pull you over and they're going to look at your breath and say, I'm going to let you go.
No, they don't.
I'm gonna let you
No.
down.
That's what he would like to think.
Well, I mean, just take you for instance.
Ooh.
Seriously, I always wanted 6'4".
I'm 6'4".
You know? Yeah, right. 6'4". You know,
6'3".
just big bodybuilder like type that can really just, you know, and gives you those big squeeze and bear hugs. Just envelops you all.
Envelop.
So let's just be honest. You're not that.
Dang, really? Because where else would the Queen Mary be?
Yeah. Oh, it looks so nice.
Yeah.
It's so important for you to know what you're supposed to do.
I love when you do that.
Because it's something that I have wrestled with myself.
The tat-a-tat, you know, what we do and how much we are really, really in the tank for a successful marriage, whether it's going well, weathering the storms and living in the high points. That's what we're about. And, you know, I've talked a lot about purpose on this show. So I wanted to bring my wife on to give her perspective so you don't think I'm just talking, making this all up. So without further ado, let's bring on my much better half, much better looking, beautiful wife, LaTanya Black Gilliard.
Yeah.
Where you at? Where you at, honey?
What do you mean, where am I at?
Where are you?
I'm at home.
Oh, yeah, you're upstairs. I recognize that. I'm joking. I'm trying to, you know. So honey, I wanted to have you on today because, as you know, I have been talking very heavily about purpose. You know, I did the whole Jerry Maguire thing, which you were very aware of. You're probably sick of me talking about the Jerry Maguire tie-in, right?
I know how you're into Jerry Maguire, yes.
Yeah, but I am into Jerry Maguire, but obviously into the whole idea of how the film just ties in so perfectly, this idea of purpose-centered, purpose-driven marriage and relationships. So, and you've heard me talk about this before, and this is kind of a general question I'm going to ask you, but what in your thinking is purpose-driven relationship in terms of how do you see that?
Purpose-driven relationships or?
Yeah, like us. Like when I talk about it, I mean, what's your take on it? You've heard me talk about it many times, but what's your take? Is that like putting you on the spot?
No, I mean, purpose-driven, you know, sometimes I think purpose-driven is just overused and people don't even know what it means.
Yes.
And it sounds good, you know. I want to know what my purpose is. I want to know what I'm supposed to be or doing or whatever. So to me, when you're with somebody else, to me, it just means a team. I mean, you work together as a team. You're not competing against each other. You're not fighting against each other. You know, you're together for a purpose to get something done. Mm-hmm. Because you and I both know marriage is about a lot more than this love. Mm-hmm. And you've got to be doing something together, or it's like, what are you doing? You know, you could have just been boyfriend and girlfriend if you wanted to, you know, just live your own individual separate lives.
Yes.
To the point where you don't even connect or, you know, have a common thread.
Indeed. So, okay, let me be more specific in a way that I think you can relate to. So oftentimes I've talked about women buying into the man's purpose. And sometimes when I talk about that, I get a bit of pushback because it sounds like I'm saying that women have to give up what they're called to do. So how do you respond to that?
give up what you're called to do.
No, yeah, but I mean, sometimes women say that because I'm saying that a woman should buy into the man's purpose first, that it means that her desire, what she's here to do, is now put on the back burner or it's eliminated. So is that true in your mind? Is that how we live our lives?
No, I think it all starts in the dating process when you know, hopefully this man is about something, you know, got something going on, that he's passionate about, that you can get with, that you can support, that you can even enhance and help make better. You definitely don't get rid of what you're doing because that's not authentic. You're not living an authentic life if you just totally get rid of what you want to do, because that will lead to, you'll be bitter, you'll be frustrated because you're not being yourself. You're not doing what you want to do.
Yes.
And yeah, no, that doesn't mean that at all. No.
Yeah, I know that. It's like that I hear a lot of women when I say that, it sounds like they're subservient in some way, which is totally not the fact. But let me just flip it this way. So you just said that something he's excited about, okay? But even more specific to that, it has to be something that he's excited about, but also something that you, like you said, that you see that you can help him with, that you also can be excited about as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to comment on that at all, or?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I meant when I said that. You got to be able to, you know, say like, oh, he's doing this. Oh, that's fun. Let's see, how can I help him with this, you know?
But you also see the potential in that man too, right? You see that it's something that can come to fruition and become bigger because of your help, right?
Yeah, because if you don't help him be the best that he could be, you're both going to go down.
Yeah.
I mean, you're both on the same airplane. So if he doesn't hold up his end of the pilot ship, then you're both going to crash. So, no, you just got to be, you know, it's like, and it's not that you're his co-pilot,
No.
but hopefully you, as a woman, you have something that you're passionate about too.
Mm-hmm.
And selfishly, you should be able to see where he can probably help you just by being himself, you know, pretty much. Because women, see, the feminine, we are creators. You are providers. And we should be able to know ourselves enough to help create a better environment for whatever you're doing, whatever the man's doing.
Yes.
That's it. I mean, we should be able to, you know, help it be, even if it's just creating a home space that, you know, when he comes home, he's just not extra stressed, you know, not pulled in another direction where, you know, it takes him off of his focus so much. Because, you know, home life can be crazy, but we don't need to add to the craziness.
Oh, amen to that. Amen to that. I just had a moment just then. It was what you call it before, PTSD when you said that, because it's so key, and it also goes to the idea that how differently we're made, men and women, and how different things we need different things. And I have to say publicly how much I appreciate you, because here we are in Atlanta, Georgia. How did we get here, right?
Ooh, long story.
We don't get to the story, but what I'm saying is that was an idea that I first introduced, and you didn't seem to be on board with it, but all of a sudden you came on board, and here we are. So it's almost like this synchronicity between us, that I introduced an idea that isn't very popular, but you weren't totally turned off by it, and you kind of bought into it. And I think when these things happen, even though they're tough moves, it can't help but succeed. Because as you said, you know, we're on the same team, and we are totally faith walkers on this deal, but we're together on this deal, right?
Yeah, and I think it helps. See, the big thing is as a wife, as a partner, you have to see how this is going to benefit. But as an individual, I'm going to have to see, how be honest with you have to be honest with yourself,
Right. Mm-hmm.
even if it means a difference of opinion. So as you notice, I said, let's take a trip.
Right.
Let's take a trip there and let me see, let me feel. And if I didn't feel it, I probably would have beat you down on it. Like, no. I'm giving you 50 million reasons why, I didn't want to go. But, thank goodness when I got here, I just started to see a bigger picture unfold,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually just grateful. And I think I started to see how it would be better here for you too.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That's really interesting. See, this is what I'm talking about. Now, I have been married. This is my third marriage, as my audience knows, because I've talked about it before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no slam on any of the other ones, okay? But the fact that you saw that it would be better for me and for you in the role as my wife, to me, kind of gives credence to the idea of how men need to be tuned in to what they're doing. And the wife picks up on that, even when, he's not feeling as confident some days,
Yeah.
And so how do you see a role there? Because you know me, okay, and how you hey
Yeah.
Watch them eyes. I see them eyes rolling, okay?
Well, no, because I know how you're right. I know you. And I mean, most men, well, I don't want to just say men, because at one point we all have to deal with our confidence level. Mm-hmm. But when you are like down on that confidence level, I have to be able to, well, now I've gotten to the point where I understand how to help get you up out of that. Even if you try to kick back on me, mm-hmm. Now I know what that MO is for you. And then I know how it just doesn't serve you at all.
Right.
So I push past that.
Right.
I push past all of your old programming, because sometimes, you have to understand people get programmed into things that they've been through in the past. And a lot of times we just live in the past when it comes to us feeling like we're not doing our best. All that comes from the past because you're comparing yourself to what you did back then.
Right.
And so that's just what I realized. It's a skill. This is a skill that a wife must have. It's a skill to be able to lift your husband up to a place where he doesn't even know what you're doing. He's just affected by it in a positive, uplifting, loving way.
Right.
Because it's not up to me to figure out the how everything is supposed to happen. I just know and I trust that everything's going to be fine. You see, because you have to be careful. Men, you have to be careful who you choose. That if both of you are going to be scared, when the money gets funny and you don't know where anything's going to come from, if both of you are scared, you're going to drive each other crazy.
Right.
Well,
that's true. Yes. Yeah. But the thing about it, though, is that, look, you were watching the Ebony K. Williams, Iyanla. I can never say her name.
Iyanla Vanzant.
Iyanla.
Oh, don't.
Yeah, I just said it. And I think, in fairness to Ebony, okay, she was voicing kind of you got to show me what you're doing first before I buy in, which is not entirely incorrect, okay? But it has to be in balance. But I just find, like you just said something right now, when the money gets funny. There are women, there are women who, when the money gets funny, they get funny and put you on a time watch. And if it doesn't get better, then they out. Or they lose respect for you, which respect for us is everything. But yet you just said when the money gets funny, you have to find a way to me, your attitude about it to me is a more appropriate wife trait. But even bigger than that, it goes to your suitability to me, which is how I've been trying to lay out this case for purpose. I'll tell this story and you can comment on it because you're going to remember this. So early in our dating stages, in 2014, I produced an event. It was a NAACP Theater Awards. It was not theater awards. It was a theater festival. Yeah. And for this particular event, when the NAACP came to me, I pitched an idea. They had in the past done new plays. People would come on and they would do these new plays. And I said, no, let's do an event that brings people together. And we focus on plays around town and do excerpts from those plays. And we had all these great people that were there who did this. I don't remember all the names, but there were some great plays there that we saw excerpts for over. I think was it 2 days or 1 day? It was 1 day, wasn't it?
I think it was just one.
Yeah, it was 1 day. The weekend was 2 days, but my portion of it was
it was just 1 day.
Yeah. So you came to this. We were dating, and I didn't know where you were. You were just there. And you were downstairs in the dressing room. You were helping people with makeup and answering questions and running around and helping people. So, of course, I'm like 5 people that day. And so I come back there, and at least 2 people said to me, who is this woman who's doing this? Who is that woman? LaTanya. Who is she? One person, her name is Rhonda Mormon. I'm going to call her name out. He said, you might want to, consider her more closely. So look, again, this is all about me and my choices. I'm not talking about anybody, but I'm telling you, having been married before, okay, maybe one of them might have done something a little bit like that. The second one absolutely would not have done that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what were you thinking when you did that? I mean, what was that about?
Well, you talk about suitability, because theater is, I don't think you actually really know about how much I loved theater, but this was something that I did, like as a producer back home in North Carolina. I just have an innate sense about me on how to make things run smoothly with people. So I just jumped into the things that you weren't going to think about because you were busy, weren't you hosting?
I did. I was hosting and I was just doing stuff, and putting fires out in the area of order of show, and people had questions about where they needed to be. And I did have some help. There was some other intern, but I was doing more production stuff for the show itself.
So, yeah. And then there's always a need backstage. Because if everything's topsy-turvy backstage, your front stage is going to be horrible.
Yeah.
People are going to be all discombobulated. Backstage, I know people need to know where the bathroom is. Do we have refreshments? Can I have some water? I might need some help. I need to get a message to somebody. Stuff like that. That is what I was taking care of. And that's where I knew I could just fit in as just being just like a floating concierge almost. Right. You know? So whenever I saw a need, I just filled it.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, that's great. The fact that you're a theater person is great, and I get the connection there. The fact that you were a floating concierge, that's great. But you know what?
You were on stage, and it's like, I know you wanted this thing to go smoothly. Everybody does when you're doing something. And I knew there were some things that you hadn't thought of.
Mm-hmm.
And most people, when you're doing that kind of stuff and you're hosting, you don't think of everything.
Right.
So
I forgot that I was hosting. I forgot all about that.
You were up front. You were on stage, introducing people and stuff. So I just know that you can't think of everything.
Right.
So I was right there, and in order to make you look good and make the people happy, so
they
when
were
they
very
come
happy
on
too. They had a
stage,
great day. It was a great day.
they, when they come on stage, they'll be at their best, not frazzled and frustrated because they didn't get simple things like water or, something to snack on or somebody to let me know when I go on, who's on stage now, stuff like that. I was just filling in all those gaps and holes so that your show could run smoothly.
Well, I think you're being humble. You know why? Because everything you're saying is true, but it's very rare in today's world and in our culture in America to be service oriented.
True.
I
am.
Even if it is your area of expertise. Right?
Yeah, right.
So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the service oriented part and your willingness without thinking about it to try to make me look good.
Yeah.
And that's the purpose part.
Yeah, because I didn't know those people.
Right.
Yeah, you had a lot of people there that I did not know.
I know.
I know them now.
Right. Right. And that's something. And then to that point, it's funny. So we're going to wind it up a little bit, but there's a couple of other things I want to bring up. So you say you know them now, and that's something that's hilarious. Brothers, let me tell you how you know you got a good woman. Okay. Here's my point, my opportunity to get this through. When I have a very, very wide circle of friends. My mom says that I have never lost a friend. It's not quite true, but I know what she's talking about, having her having known me for all 60 plus years of my life. So this is how you know you have a winner, is when your friends embrace her. Now, I'm not trying to say that, it's about people accepting somebody who is right for you. But a red flag is when you have a woman at your side and nobody likes her. That's a red flag. I don't care what you say, okay?
Yeah, it is.
Likewise, when you have someone who your friends are embracing. Most of my female friends, in fact, there's a quick story. I'll digress for a second. There's a friend of mine who's a mutual friend of ours who told LaTanya that one thing to look out for me is I have too many female friends. Right? right. And I did. Not so much anymore. I mean, I do, but I don't interact with them.
You still do.
I still do, but I don't interact with them like I used to.
No, but that's the point is, I don't care how many female friends you got. It's that you're responsible for letting them know my place.
And I think I do a good job of that.
And I didn't have any problem with that.
Yeah. So, but here's the point, though. Many of these female friends, some of my male friends, they like you better. They don't even like me anymore. I have to say, hey, here I am.
I don't know about that.
Hey, it's Carl. Hey, remember me? Hey. Hey. Right? How do you feel about that? Is that something you've noticed too? Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
No, I know. I will give myself credit for being a very kind person.
Right. Yes.
So it's hard to not connect with someone who's kind.
That's true.
And I will give myself, I know myself enough to know that I am kind. I know everybody's not going to like me, but I am a kind person. And a lot of your friends, I don't say they like me better, but they like me too.
Okay, I think they like you better, but okay, you being modest again. I mean, it's not like I care really. I get why they like you better because I know how I can be. I know that I'm a nice guy, but I can get them a little space.
Yeah, you kind of rough around the edges sometimes. They probably have experienced that, and they're like, they like the sugar more than they like the salt.
But see, that's what you're there for. You're there to bring the sugar out. Since we're married, you're the sugar for me. It's also my sugar. It's not just your sugar. We're together, right?
Yep, that's true.
So I think that's pretty amazing to me. So brothers, when you find that people don't like the woman you with, you should listen. I'm not trying to say that you need to be, because sometimes people will give you bad information. I get that. But when it's kind of a common thread, when I split from one of the wives, people came out the woodwork. I kid you not. Oh, I'm so glad you broke up. Oh my God. She said this on this day. She did this to me one time. I'm telling you, I could do not a book, but certainly a couple of pages of people who said to me how, and before I married her, I did get some warnings from people about the same things. No slam on her. She just was inappropriate for me. She's great with somebody else, but me. This is the point I'm getting at. This is not a slam on anybody. This is what I'm saying is brothers who are watching this, be very, very careful of your choices and don't make these choices without understanding who you are. And it's not just about a job. It's about who you are, which, spills over. In my case, I think it spills over for sure into what my business is. But sometimes it doesn't. It's your heart, right?
True.
Blended families.
Oh.
So, I'm going to brag some more about LaTanya. She, okay, I don't know how to explain this. So both of us, this is our third marriage. Okay. Her second marriage produced children, right? Who are also my children as often as they let me be. Damn. But okay, they're all grown. But anyway,
grown. On both of our sides, everybody's grown.
Everybody's grown. That's true. But your baby is the baby. So, and she's my heart. So anyway, you also have, I guess, bonus kids from your ex-husband's side,
right?
Who you still are grandmother to and still treat as family. So I want you to comment a bit about that. You know what I'm saying? Your whole take on that, because you're no longer with that person, right?
Right.
You're with me, but you still have a strong connection. So tell me about that.
I mean, it's just a love relationship. Before I got into that relationship, I knew what I was getting into, and I knew who those kids were, and I had to make a choice, on or as to accepting them or not, and I did. So, I mean, there was a little bit of drama with one's, mother,
right?
But we were able to kind of smooth that out as the child got older,
right?
And spent more time with us and everything. That became not an issue anymore. But I mean, I just treated the children like they were my own. And then when I had my own, they were all loving siblings, And I do realize you got to create a loving home in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
Because when we had my biological two children, they loved their brother and sister. Their half brother and sister, but that word never entered into our home.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, we created a family, and I know. Now, I will give myself credit. I know I had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, I know you did. That's the reason I'm bringing it up. I'm gonna say something when you get done, but keep going.
I had a whole lot to do with that because as a mother, as the soft spot in the home, You know, you have to be there for the kids. And, you know, I mean, in some cases, you know, as they got older and I was no longer with him, they would still look to me for the same kind of love and advice and stuff that I would always give. And that never changed. So the thing was, it's like I was really being who I was.
Right.
And that never changed. So as they got older, just because we weren't together anymore, that never changed. But they were able to feel that love. So that's why we're still, you know, family.
Well, again, you know, that's everything you're saying is obviously true, and
Yeah.
it's a testimony, though, to your heart, as you, you know, in my view, because I'm gonna make a general statement that you may push me back on. I've said it before. You know, we'll see how it goes. So you know, I don't think men are real good necessarily at being the soft spot, but
Right.
I do think